Hello everyone. Welcome to this session on advanced cybersecurity. I'm excited to share the knowledge regarding cybersecurity as this stuff is not just for hackers or IT guys in dark rooms. This knowledge is for everyone, whether you are building a software, managing a team, running a startup, or just using the internet. Cybersecurity is relevant to you. Every single day, companies get hacked, data gets stolen, and people's lives get disrupted. All because of things we are going to learn to prevent today. So let's make this fun. I'll explain everything with real world examples. We will do some live demos, and by the end of this session, you should feel like, okay, I actually understand what security professionals do and why. So, guys, let's dive in. Alright, so here's our roadmap for today. Think of this like a building. We start at foundation and work our way up. We are going to cover seven major areas. The first is network security and network security. This is the front door of everything. Second, wireless security because your Wi-Fi is basically an open window if not secured properly. Third, endpoint security, your laptop, your phone, any device that connects. Fourth, cloud security, because most of you are storing things on AWS or Azure these days. Fifth, digital forensics. This is detective work for computers. Super interesting. Incident response. What do you actually do when something goes wrong? And finally, three hands on labs where we get actually do stuff. Don't worry, if some of this sound complex, by the time we are done, you will be able to explain each one to your non-technical friend. That's my goal for today. Network security. Let's start with the most fundamental question. What is a network? A network is just devices talking to each other. Your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, your router, they are all on a network. And wherever there is a communication, there is a risk of someone eavesdropping, intercepting, or messing with that communication. That's what network security is all about, protecting those conversations. Okay, now firewalls. Let me give you the most relatable analogy I know. Imagine you are throwing a party at your house. You have hired a bouncer at the door. Every person who wants to come in has to show their invitation. The bouncer checks, are you on the list? Are you carrying anything dangerous? Are you coming in through the front door like normal people? Or did you try to climb through the back window? That's literally what a firewall does. But for network traffic, now there are different types of bouncers. I mean, firewalls. Packet filtering is the basic bouncer. He just looks at your face, your IP address, and port number, and either lets you in or turns you away. Fast, simple, but he doesn't actually check what's in your bag. Stateful inspection is a smarter bouncer. He doesn't just check if you are allowed in, he remembers you. If you left earlier and come back saying, I was just here, he checks his records. This tracks the context of connections. Application layer firewall or WAF. This bouncer reads your entire conversation. He doesn't just care who you are, he cares what you are saying. So if someone says, drop table users or SQL injection attack, he stops it even if that person had a valid invitation. Next gen firewalls combine all of this plus more. Threat intelligence, SSL inspection, deep packet inspection. Think of it like airport security at a VIP terminal. Yes. Now, let's take a real world example. When you tried to access Facebook at your college network and it said block, that was a firewall. The college IT team configured a rule saying block all social media during class hours. Simple packet filtering, right? Now let's have a demo. So this is Kali Linux and I'll show you here firewall rules in action. I'm going to configure a real firewall right here live. Watch carefully. This is exactly what a sysadmin does when setting up a new server. So come on, let's first log in. Let's go to the terminal. Step 1 is to check if firewall is currently on. For that, we will be typing the command sudo ufw status. Since it shows UFW not found, we will be first installing it. UFW stands for uncomplicated firewall. So let's first install it. Now, since it is installed, let's type our command. See, it shows its inactive status. Now here sudo means I'm running this as administrator and as its status is inactive, meaning right now there is no firewall on this machine and anyone could connect to any port. That's dangerous. So let's fix it. So let's go to step 2. It is allowing SSH first. So let's type. I'll be doing it for 22 port 22. Before I turn the firewall on, I'm allowing port 22 first. Port 22 is SSH remote access. If I turn on the firewall without doing this, I would lock myself out of my own server. This is the number one mistake beginners make. They enable the firewall and suddenly can't connect to their own machine anymore. Always allow your access port first. Now allow web traffic. So let's allow for port number 80 and 443. So port 80 is HTTP, that is normal websites, and port 443 is HTTPS, that is secure websites. I am allowing both because this is a web server. Think of this as the front doors I want open for legitimate visitors. Now let's block everything else by default. So let's type the command. This is the most important command, default deny incoming. This means any connection attempt that doesn't match our rules above gets blocked automatically. I don't need to list every bad thing. I just say if I didn't explicitly allow it, deny it. This is the correct security mindset. Deny everything, allow only what you need. Now let's enable the firewall. Let's type the command. See, firewall is active. Next, now it's time to see the rules. So look at this output. Status is active. We have three rules: allow 22, allow 80, and allow 443. Everything is denied, clean, simple, and effective. If this were a real production server, an attacker scanning our IP would only see these three ports open, nothing else to attack. Now, let's see what blocking looks like. Let's type some commands for it. I just added a rule to explicitly block port 8080. Notice in the numbered list, rule 4 says deny 8080. Sometimes developers accidentally leave test servers running on port 8080 exposed to the internet. This rule makes sure even if something is running there, no one from outside can reach it. This is defense in depth, multiple layers. So, we have gone through We have gone from zero security to a properly configured firewall, allowed only what we need, blocked everything else. This is the foundation. You can do exactly the same on your VM and test it using Nmap. Now let's move on. Now let's go further. Now, as we have seen that firewalls are the bouncers, now let me introduce two more characters, the surveillance cameras and the security guard. IDPS, Intrusion Detection System, is like a really smart CCTV system. It watches all the traffic, compares it to known attack patterns, and when it sees something suspicious, it sends an alert. But here's the catch, it doesn't do anything, it just says, hey, something weird is happening, like a smoke alarm. Next is IPS, Intrusion Prevention System. It is the smoke alarm plus the sprinkler system. It detects and it acts. It automatically blocks the suspicious traffic before it causes damage. Now, how do they detect bad stuff? Signature based detection is like a wanted poster database. The system knows what known attacks look like, the signatures or fingerprints, and it matches incoming traffic against those. Super fast, very accurate for known threats, but completely blind to new attacks it's never seen before. Anomaly-based detection is smarter. It learns what normal looks like for your network. If your file server normally transfers 2 GB a day and suddenly it's transferring 200 GB at 3 a.m., that's anomalous. Alert. This can catch zero-day attacks that have no signature yet. Let's take a real example. In 2013, Target was hacked, 40 million credit card numbers stolen. Their IDS did fire alerts, but no one was watching the alerts properly. The damage happened because the detection existed, but the response didn't. That's why IDS alone isn't enough. You need people and process, not just tools. Let's go further. Proxy servers. Think of a proxy as a middleman. Here's a simple scenario. You want to buy something from a celebrity, but you don't want them to know who you are. So you hire an agent. The agent contacts the celebrity on your behalf, gets the things, and brings it to you. The celebrity only knows the agent, not you. That's a forward proxy. You connect to the proxy connects to the internet on your behalf. Websites see the proxy's IP, not yours. This is how VPNs work at a basic level, and it's how corporate networks control what website employees visit. A reverse proxy is the opposite. Now, imagine the celebrity has so many fans trying to contact them that they hire an agent to manage incoming requests. The agent decides which one the celebrity actually deals with. The fans only know the agent's contact number. This is how big websites like Netflix handle millions of requests. A reverse proxy like Nginx or Cloudflare sits in front, load balances traffic, and protects the actual server. Let's take a real world example. When you are at a corporate office and try to open YouTube and it says access denied, you went through a transparent proxy that a company configured. It didn't even ask for your permission. It just silently intercepted and filtered your traffic. Let's go to the next slide. VPN Technologies. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, one of the most used and most misunderstood technologies. Let's understand it with a simple analogy. Imagine you need to shout a secret message across a crowded marketplace to your friend on the other side. Anyone in between can hear you. Now imagine instead of that, you both have walkie talkies with military grade encryption. You can shout all you want, it just sounds like static to everyone else. Only your friend's device can decode it. That's a VPN. IPsec VPN. This works at the network layer. It encrypts the entire IP packet, wraps it in a new packet, and sends it through. Used heavily for site to site connections, like connecting your Mumbai office network to your Delhi headquarters network securely over the internet. SSL or TLS VPN. This works over HTTPS port 443. Much easier to set up. Works from any browser. This is what most work from home VPNs use, like Cisco, AnyConnect, or Global Protect. Split tunneling. This is interesting. When split tunneling is on, only your corporate traffic goes through the VPN tunnel. Your Netflix still goes directly to the internet. When it's off, all your traffic goes through the corporate server. Your IT team loves turning it off so they can monitor everything. Your Netflix hates it because it's slow. Now let's take an example of real life example. During COVID, when everyone started working from home, VPN usage shot up 600% globally. Companies that didn't have proper VPN infrastructure struggled massively. The ones that did stayed secure. Wireless security. This one is very close to home. Literally, the Wi Fi router sitting in your bedroom corner right now. It's broadcasting your network name, negotiating connections with the devices, and potentially exposing your entire home network to whoever is within signal range. Let's understand what that really means. Let me take you on a quick history lesson of Wi Fi security, and it's actually a bit of a horror story. Yes. WEP, Wired Equivalent Privacy, introduced in 1999. It was supposed to provide security equivalent to a wired network, but by 2001, researchers found it had such fundamental flaws that you could crack WEP in literally 60 seconds with a laptop. It's completely broken, but here's the scary part. Some routers and industrial equipments still use it today. Never use WEP ever. WPA came next. Wi-Fi protected access. Better. It was better, but it used TKIP, which has itself just a band-aid on WEP's problems. Also duplicate. Next, WPA2. This is the standard most of us are using right now. Uses AES encryption, which is genuinely strong, but it has vulnerabilities too. Sex, mainly in the four-way handshake process and in weak passwords. WPA3, the newest released in 2018, uses something called SAE, simultaneous authentication of equals, essentially a much more secure way of establishing the connection. Even if someone captures your handshake, they can't do an offline attack against it. This is what you should be running if your router supports you. Quick check for everyone watching. Go to your phone's Wi Fi settings, tap on your home network, and see what if security type it shows. If it says WPA2, you are okay, but check if your router supports WPA3. If it says WEP, please change that today. Now let's compare WPA2 and WPA3. Now let me break down the key differences because this matters practically. The biggest improvement in WPA3 is protection against offline dictionary attacks. Here's how that worked with the WPA2. An attacker sits near your house, captures your WPA2 handshake when your phone connects to the router. This takes maybe 10 seconds. They go home, run hashcat on a GPU, try a billion passwords against that captured handshake. If your password is 12345678, usually many people have the same password 12345678, or maybe your kid's name, they have cracked it in minutes, all without any interaction with your network. WPA3's SAE handshake prevents this. Each authentication attempt requires live interaction with the actual network. You can't do it offline. Game change. Forward secrecy is also used. It means even if an attacker records all your encrypted traffic today and breaks your key years later, they still can't decrypt those old sessions. Each session uses a unique key. Let's understand. If you are buying a new router, get one that supports WPA3. If you are setting up a corporate Wi-Fi, WPA3 Enterprise is the gold standard. Now let's talk about how attackers actually target Wi-Fi. This is the fun part because once you understand how attackers work, defenses become obvious. Evil twin attack. Imagine you are at Starbucks and you see two networks, say Starbucks Wi Fi and Starbucks guest. You connect to what looks like the official one, but one of them is a laptop sitting under the table of that person in the call. Everything you send, your passwords, your emails, your bank login, goes through their machine first. That's an evil twin. Next, deauthentication attack. This one is a cheeky. Wi-Fi has a management frame called a deauth packet. Anyone can send it without authentication. So an attacker sends fake deauth packets to your device. Your phone thinks the router kicked it off. It reconnects. During that reconnection, the four-way handshake, the attacker captures it for offline cracking. It takes literally 30 seconds. Crack attack. Discovered in 2017, that is key reinstallation. This affected every WPA2 device in the world. It forced devices to reuse a cryptographic nonce during handshake, breaking the encryption. Most devices are patched now, but the takeaway is patch your devices always. WPS PIN attack. WPS Wi Fi protected setup was designed for convenience to press a button on the router to connect device. But the WPS pin is only 8 digits and due to a design flaw, it's effectively only 11,000 possible combinations. A, to- a tool called Reaver can crack it in hours. Hence, disable WPS on your router right now. Wireless auditing. Now, this is where we put on our ethical hacker hat. Wireless auditing means testing your own network or a client's network with return permission to find vulnerabilities before real attackers do. The Aircrack-ng suite is the Swiss Army knife of wireless auditing. Let me walk you through what each tool does. Airmon and NG puts your wireless card into monitor mode. Normally, your card only listens to traffic addressed to you. Monitor mode lets it capture all wireless traffic in range, like turning your card into a passive scan. Aerodump-ng. The scanner shows all nearby networks, their encryption type, connected clients, and signal strength. Airplay-ng, the active tool, can inject packets, send deauth frames, and help capture handshakes. Aircrack-ng, the cracker, once you have a captured handshake, it tries to crack the password. Kismet is different. It's a passive scanner and detector. It can find hidden SSIDs, detect rogue access points, and act as a wireless IDs. I have an important note. Everything Everything I am showing is for defensive purposes and to understand what attackers can see. So you can protect against it. Using these tools on networks you don't own is illegal under the IT Act and equivalent law globally. Always get return authorization first before doing anything. NetStumbler and Insider are both Wi-Fi discovery and analysis tools, often called stumblers, used to map wireless networks and find rogue access points and detect signal blind spots. Historically, Insider was designed as the spiritual successor to NetStumbler, solving compatibility issues as technology evolved. Next, let's go to the next slide. Endpoint security. Every laptop, phone, tablet, and IoT device on your network is an endpoint, and each one is a potential entry point for an attacker. Network security protects the parameter, but what if the attacker is already inside? What if an employee clicks a phishing link? What if a USB drive has malware? Endpoint security is your last line of defense. Antivirus technologies. Antivirus. Yes, what is it? Everyone has it, yes? Not everyone understands how it actually works. Signature based detection is the oldest method. Think of it like a police wanted poster database. The AV vendor analyzes millions of malware samples, extracts their unique fingerprint, a hash or a byte pattern, and adds it to a database. When you download a file, the AV checks it against the database. If match equal to malware alert, this is why AV updates are critical. An outdated AV is like a security guard looking at 2090's most wanted list in 2025. The problem is zero-day malware. Brand new malware has no signature yet. It can walk right past signature based AV. Heuristic analysis tries to solve this. Instead of matching a signature, it asks, does this program behave like malware? Does it try to enumerate all files? Does it make network connections to unknown IPs? Does it try to disable security software? This catches many new threats but also creates false positives. Sandboxing is the most powerful modern technique. Suspicious files are executed in a completely isolated virtual environment, a sandbox where they can do no real harm. A AV watches what happens and makes a verdict. The trade off is speed. This takes seconds, sometimes minutes. Let's take a real example. The famous I Love You virus in 2000 infected 45 million computers in 10 days. At the time, email attachments weren't being treated as an executable code. Today, a good AV sandboxes email attachments automatically. EDR solutions, that is endpoint detection and response. Antivirus is reactive. EDR is proactive and reactive. Here's the difference with a story. Traditional AV is like a security guard who only reacts when someone pulls a weapon. EDR is like a security guard who has been watching someone suspiciously for 20 minutes, noting every move they made, and already has their hand on the radio by the time the weapon appears. EDR continuously records everything that happens on an endpoint. Every process started, every file created, every network connection made, every registry key changed. This telemetry is sent to a central platform where AI and human analysts look for patterns. When an alert fires, a security analyst can go back in time and trace the full attack chain. Say employee clicked an email attachment at 2 hours, 14 minutes, 0 seconds PM. Attachment spawned PowerShell process at 2 hours, 14 minutes, 03 seconds PM. And now PowerShell downloaded payload from external IP at 2 hours, 14 minutes, 05 seconds PM. Next, payload encrypted files starting at 2 hours, 14 minutes, 10 seconds PM. The entire story forensically documented. CrowdStrike Falcon is probably the most well-known cloud-native, lightweight agent, incredible threat hunting. In fact, CrowdStrike was the company that investigated the 2016 DNC hack. Sentinel-1 has an incredible feature, autonomous rollback. If ransomware starts encrypting your files, Sentinel-1 can automatically roll back all those encrypted files to their previous state. It's like an undo button for ransomware attacks. The difference to remember is AV is equal to prevent known and EDR equals to detect, investigate, respond to everything. Now let me show you a demo of VirusTotal, which you can do right now. So let's switch to Kali Linux. Let's close the terminal. Yes, so VirusTotal is the one of the free tools in cybersecurity. This website is used by professionals every single day. And let me show you how and why exactly. So now this is virustotal.com. Here you can see three tabs: File tab, URL tab, and Search tab. VirusTotal works by taking whatever you give it, like a file, a URS, or an IP address, and running it through over 70 different antivirus engines simultaneously. It's like getting a second, third, and 70th opinion instantly. So now let's type an URL. For that, let's ask Google for some URL. Yes. Now let's paste the URL. Now, see here is the ratio, that is 11 is to 92. It means 11 out of 92 security engines flag this as malicious. In real life, if even 3 or 4 engines flag a URL, treat it as suspicious. If 20 or more flag it, definitely malicious. Don't visit it. See. Now, look at the tabs here. Detection. It shows which engines flagged it and what they called it. Details show information about the URL itself. See. Relation and fascinating. It shows other URLs, domains, and IP addresses connected to this one. Community shows that security researchers are saying about. See. This relations tab is what investigators use. You find one malicious URL, and VirusTotal shows you the entire network of connected malicious infrastructure. Now let's scan a file. Okay. For this, let me create a simple harmless test file and upload it. So let's go to the terminal and let's create a file. File is created. Let's go back to Firefox. Let's choose a file from desktop. This file is created. As this is a plain text file with one line, it's completely harmless. What's the result? It's 0 out of 61 engines flagged. Clean, this is your baseline. what a clean file looks like. Now imagine instead of this text file, someone emailed you a .exe file or a .pdf with macros. You downloaded it, but before opening, you upload it here first. If 15 engines flag it as ransomware, you have just saved your entire computer without even opening it. This is a habit every single one of you should develop. Never open suspicious attachments without checking VirusTotal first. Now, let's go back and let's type something a hash value. See, this is the search tab. You can search by file hash, IP address, or domain. A hash is like a fingerprint of a file, a unique identifier. Security tools like EDR generate hashes of files they scan. If your EDR flags a file hash as suspicious, you paste it here and instantly see if the entire security community has seen it before and what they think of it. See the result. This hash is the EIC. So here you can see the ratio is 66 upon 70, like 66 IPs have detected it as malicious out of 70. These are the details. Relation, behavior. Now let's get back to our PPT. But yes, let me tell you that this is free, powerful, and it is also used by professionals worldwide. So you may also use it. Okay, let's go back to our slide. Device hardening. Device hardening is about reducing your attack surface, the number of ways an attacker could potentially get in. Let me use a house analogy. Every door, window, and vent is a potential entry point. Hardening means lock all the doors, close all the windows you don't need open, but put bars on the basement window and make sure the front door has three locks instead of one. Principle of least privilege. This is the most important concept in all of security, not just hardening. Every user, everywhere process, every application should have the minimum permissions needed to do its job. Nothing more. Why? Because if that user gets compromised, the attacker only gets the permissions that user had. A regular employee account getting compromised is a problem. An admin account getting compromised is the catastrophe. Let's take a real example. In 2020, the SolarWinds attack, one of the most sophisticated hacks in history, succeeded partly because the SolarWinds update mechanisms had excessive permissions. It could push updates to thousands of government networks. The attackers poisoned that update mechanism and essentially got admin access to 18,000 organizations. Least privilege could have limited the blast radius dramatically. Disable unnecessary services. Most operating systems come with dozens of services running by default that you probably don't need. Every running service is a potential vulnerability. Telnet, that is encrypted remote access, SMBV1, used by WannaCry ransomware, RDP exposed to the internet. All attack vectors that should be closed if not needed. Full disk encryption. If your laptop is stolen and unencrypted, the thief can pull the hard drive, plug it into another machine, and read everything. BitLocker on Windows, Firewall on Mac. Enable them takes enable them. Takes one click, makes data theft from stolen devices essentially impossible. Application whitelisting. Only pre-approved applications can execute blocks unauthorized malicious software. CIS benchmarks. Industry standard hardening guidelines for OS applications and network devices. Patch management. I want to start this slide with a statistic that should shock you. Like 80% of successful cyber attacks exploit vulnerabilities that already had patches available. Not 0 days, not super sophisticated attacks, just unpatched software. The 2017 WannaCry ransomware attack infected 3 lakh computers across 150 countries in a single day. Hospitals couldn't access patients' records. The NHS in the UK was paralyzed. The cost, that is $4 billion. The vulnerability WannaCry exploited. Eternal Blue had been patched by Microsoft 2 months before the attack. Organizations just hadn't applied to patch. So, patch management isn't glamorous, but it's arguably the single most impactful security action you can take. The life cycle, you don't just blindly push every patch immediately. You identify available patches, test them in a staging environment first. Sometimes patches break other things, get approval from change management, deploy in waves, non critical systems first, then critical, and then verify everything is working. CVSS scores help you prioritize. CVSS is the Common Vulnerability Scoring System. It gives every vulnerability a score from 0 to 10.9. 9 to 10 is critical path within 24 hours. 7 to 8. 9 is high patch within 7 days. Below that, you have more time. 0 days are the scary ones, vulnerabilities that are being actively exploited before a patch exists. You can't patch them, so you rely on other controls. Network segmentation, WAF rules, behavioral AV, and monitoring for the attack patterns. Let's go to the next slide. Cloud security. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this session on advanced security. Today we will stop here. In our next session, we will continue with our next topic, that is cloud security. So stay tuned, and by now, if you have any queries, then feel free to reach out at biotechreviewing@gmail.com. So yes, thank you.